My name is Travis Heneveld. I'm here with Geeks Without Frontiers. We're a nonprofit, tech-neutral, global consultancy working with communities around the world, and especially in Indian country, in my case right now. Basically working on the benefits of connectivity for the community and beyond. So what's been happening here, we talked about Newcom Alliance. I'd like to introduce you to Phil Fowler, who's the president of Newcom. He's spent 8 years as the IT director at Bishop Paiute Tribe. And we've got Kayla Balliew from Intel, who didn't have to travel very far. She's a solutions engineer and a volunteer as a community liaison with us for quite a while now. And last but not least, Jesse Archer, vice president of Newcom, who's been working in nation building and also private sector telcos. The other seat is for Mariah David. Unfortunately, due to illness, she can't be with us right now, but she's with us, and we got her back today, right? So I just want to open it up, and you'll hear about what's happened since September with Newcom and what we're looking forward to. Phil?
Thanks, Travis. Whoa, this mic's hot. Okay, well, we started New Communications Alliance in late 2020 after the Tribal Broadband Priority Window licenses were awarded to the Bishop Tribe and the Lone Pine Tribe, respectively. As we started working on our projects, we were talking back and forth and realized that we were working with a lot of the same people and had some of the same ideas, and we were bouncing ideas back and forth from one another, borrowing equipment from one another, and just kind of cooperating in a really informal way. And after a while, it became clear that as we were continuing to do this, it would be beneficial for us to kind of formalize this agreement and to start a organization between the tribes that was sanctioned by both tribal governments.
No, and then we became best friends.
Yeah.
Right after that.
Yeah, and that's when he started showing up at my house. We had known each other before that, though. We met at the Inyo-Mono Broadband. We were members of the Inyo-Mono Broadband Commission, representing the tribes. As part of that, there was, I think, 3 tribal representatives, you and me and Benton. Yeah.
And this original, it would be called a cooperative. It was organized by the county. And as Phil said, we were originally tribal representatives, but that organization felt like had its shortcomings. So eventually we were given the opportunity to work together again, and we formed New Communications Alliance. We felt that a tribally led, indigenous led organization that's advocating and supporting the smaller rural tribes was something that needed to happen. They just didn't have the representation originally. So after that, we formed a state-sanctioned nonprofit through the state of California. And that was a little over a year ago. And since then, we have continued to grow and become more official. So thank you for that.
Yeah, and so as you can see here, our alliance members currently consist of the Bishop Paiute Tribe. That's kind of central in our whole map, which you'll see in a moment. I was, at the time, the representative for the Bishop Paiute Tribe. I've since moved on and became full-time the president for New Communications Alliance. We had the Lone Pine Paiute Shoshone Reservation. That was Jesse. Yeah. And we're continuing to work with the Lone Pine Paiute Shoshone Tribe.
Well, yeah, just to pick up off of there, these are all small, relatively small rural tribes in the Eastern Sierra, with the exception of the Bishop Paiute Tribe, which is one of the largest Paiute tribes in the state. The other tribes, we have a few hundred tribal members. So not a lot of capacity in the network building area. And so now that we're working together, we're able to share consultants, share knowledge, share resources, and overall work together.
Yeah, and along those lines too. So the next two tribes there on the list, the Bridgeport Indian Colony and Mono Lake Kutsadika, they're currently in a bad situation right now. I think it's gone down from a crisis, but it's really close. The Mono County was heavily inundated by snow from the last few storms that came through.
Well, isolated.
Yeah,
Avalanches cut them off from the north and the south, from anywhere.
And at the time they were cut off from communications. They were also cut off from fuel because the fuel trucks weren't able to roll into Bridgeport, and so they had power outages, communications outages, and they were running low on their fuel for their generators. Since then, they've pulled out of crisis mode and are back to a stable condition. But it's something new that we really started embarking on with these new storms, helping them with emergency response and sort of ramping up our efforts to get them the communications and the resources that they need in order to respond effectively to the emergencies.
This is a map here of our general region where the Newcom Alliance operates. And up there north, you see Bridgeport. It's very, very close to the Nevada border, going into the Walker area and on up into the 395. And it's 150 miles from very top to very bottom down to the Lone Pine tribe, where we both work with. And it's in the middle of the deepest valley that we have. We're surrounded by mountains, surrounded by desert, just to give a little bit of context to how isolated we really are out there. And also, I guess to show that communications is super important, especially when we have avalanches and some of our county is declared a state of emergency. Without strong, stable communications, many households are entirely cut off, no cell phone service, no power, and entirely dependent on third parties to come in and repair their networks.
So since we got started and after we pulled together our team, not only our leadership team and our members, our partners, and our member tribes, well, here's a list of the things that we've achieved.
I think this is a great list.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of text on this screen, but just to condense down a lot of the acronyms on here, these are a lot of the grants that we assisted tribes successfully to apply for and be awarded from a lot of these grantors from local, state, and federal agencies.
And institutes and private cooperatives.
Exactly, and which is also why we're super happy to have Kayla here with us, who is from Intel, which is also an N50 partner. They were a large grantor and a big part of our success in some of these, in our ability to write some of these grants and to provide resources to the communities that we work with. And that's all the way down to tools, equipment like laptops, Chromebooks, networking switch equipment, very, very expensive items. And most importantly, I think expertise and knowledge.
Absolutely.
Tons of volunteers. We'll get into that. But some of these bigger things I just wanted to touch on around thought leadership, because we like to try to help tribes articulate and execute the visions that they have to take control of their own broadband futures. And then the last bit on here, a deeper collaboration between Indigenous projects and industry stakeholders. We don't often speak the same language. We may have the same goal, but how we get there may be different, and how we choose to get there may be different. So what we try to do is help industry stakeholders who have, I think, similar core values as us, and show similar things that they care about that are in line with the tribe, and we try to create deeper connections and relationships between those. And it seems to be working out so far.
Yeah, it's working out great. In fact, we've been able to, since we started ramping up operations, we've put together several projects that are coming along beautifully. One of our main goals in building the New Communications Alliance was to support the broadband efforts of the tribes in the region. And in order to effectively support those broadband efforts, we need to build a regional workforce. So we've been working on a workforce development program with the help of N50 and Intel and others to try to build the digital skills that are necessary to support these networks and let them be sustainable in the region. Because we're isolated, it's difficult for us to find people from outside the area. It's difficult for them to find housing if they do choose to come into the area. And so we felt that it was important and beneficial to train the local Indigenous workforce in order to take advantage of these broadband networks that were coming online. In order to do so, we've built what we call the Indigenous Broadband Employment Accelerator Program, or IBEEP. That was Travis. And with the help of N50 and Intel, we're currently building out that training center now. We have an amazing project, IDV project that we're going to have Kayla talk about in a moment, and some digital literacy training that she's also helping us with. So this is really one of the cornerstone projects of New Communication Alliance at the moment.
Just the 2 points that I want to hit on this little matrix right here. We've got the program, initiative, and impact that you can see. 2 of the biggest impacts that I think are measurable from our relationships with the tribes that we're working with is our team bringing in resources such as grants and funding to the tribe. That's a big feather in our cap when a lot of the tribes that we work with are very small and rural and don't have the capacity or resources and time and expertise necessary to apply for a lot of these grants, which require a lot of technical writing and just hours and hours of refining to get within the guidelines of the grant. The last bit would be, where did that go? Build community support. No, Phil covered it. Phil covered it. So I want to hustle off and get in these next slides so we can get have Kayla articulate a little bit more about her spot. But this slide is about our big partners. And Kayla, if you could tell us a little bit about your role.
So we have, I got engaged with this project initially through the N50 organization, which is shown on the slide. And their mission and vision is really around connecting the unconnected, those who are not currently participating in the digital world, and closing the digital divide. We have over 100 partners who have signed up to support this project, or the N50 project. And we're doing a number of projects across the globe. There's an effort going on in Zambia. We've done some work in Ukraine to help supply emergency power and connectivity to the refugees there. We are also, with New Communications Alliance, working on a few initiatives where we are working very closely with Geeks Without Frontiers. We're working with Dell and the Barbara Bush Foundation to bring IDV labs, which are basically, they're intelligent desktop virtualization labs, essentially computer labs, to the communities within the Owens Valley. Not only that, but we want to make sure that we're providing human enriching applications for the community, so that we're not just, grabbing some hardware, sticking it in the community, and then hands off. We want to make sure that it's sustainable long term, and that we're supporting them throughout the whole process, that we train the local community members how to maintain it, how to essentially, we want this to scale as well to many of the different communities within the Owens Valley and beyond. But we are also bringing, with Barbara Bush Foundation, we have brought some digital literacy, we're bringing some digital literacy training to the community to train the adults in the community on basic digital literacy skills, or specific applications, commercial applications like Excel or PowerPoint, and then even into specific applications like if someone needs help with their, helping their child through remote schooling, or logging into their health network to do a telehealth appointment, things like that. So we're really trying to make sure that we're not only just giving money or giving hardware. We're trying to make sure that this is sustainable, that we're helping them participate more in the digital world versus just providing that connectivity. So we're trying to go beyond and based on what the needs are of the community. For example, there was a need for remote voting, online voting with the tribal government meeting. So just being able to enable some of those different applications for the community is really our focus in trying to support and connect with the different commercial, not NGOs, just different partners throughout the N50 organization. And we're always recruiting more partners. So if it's in your vision or mission to connect the unconnected or close that digital divide, help out these communities and make them more sustainable, definitely reach out. And we have a website, n50project.org, that you can visit and learn more.
Absolutely. And thank you, Kayla. And I just want to say that the icons, the logos that you see here on this page, all of these companies, and including some that aren't listed on here, we see some folks over here who really helped us out from the beginning, provided selfless equipment and time to our project. So these are some of the people who donate and commit resources that make it onto the ground. They don't get diverted and filtered off all over the place. They impact the people. So thank you, Kayla, for that. Oops. I think we have 2 more, and we're doing good on time.
Yeah, well, I just thought I'd say then, since we're still talking about N50 and our partners, they have been nothing short of absolutely phenomenal in helping us to ramp up our efforts, helping keep us organized, and helping us to network with other potential partners who can provide us with the technology and the educational opportunities that we need to provide to the community. It's been more than valuable. In fact, it's really what keeping us going this whole time is our partnership.
Absolutely. Without our partners, a lot of this stuff wouldn't be possible. So that was some of the history of where we're at and what we're working on. This right here slide is a lot about where we're going forward. These are our next goals and our big project goals and initiatives. So last year, if some of you were here, you may remember us. We had just completed our process becoming a California state recognized nonprofit. I'm happy to report we just finished our application, and we expect our 501c3 status notification within the next month. So we're really excited about that. So we can, thank you. We'll be able to work with all of you guys, no matter where you're at.
Yeah.
These last 4 bullet points here, Kayla really outlined them far better than I could. But the larger takeaway from this slide that I wanted to kind of tamp down is we've got workforce development, intelligent desktop virtualization, community digital skills training, and local regional innovation centers. If I can summarize this slide, the idea behind it is that our goal and what we want to do is assist tribes bringing in the resources, help them provide them the tools that they need to build their own network infrastructure, and then provide the training to certify local tribal members to sustain their networks. So the resources to build your networks, the tools and skills, and then obviously the training for your own tribal members to maintain those networks.
And ultimately, we hope to offer the full vertical stack of training, and from everything down from installers and cable splicing and level 1 tech support, clear up to administrative support, accounting, leadership,
Yes.
project management, and everything in between.
For a brief description of what these are from the bottom up, local regional innovation centers. We've just been approved with one of our local tribes that we work with for a dedicated building. So we'll have a location where tribal members and tribal community can come to learn digital skills or to be potentially certified in maintaining their network. Digital inclusion, that is the community aspect of it, so that your community develops the skills that they need to navigate the digital world and also to protect themselves, because it can be a scary place and folks can be taken advantage of.
And we're not only going to be doing those digital inclusion and skills trainings at the center that Jesse was just talking about, but as you saw in the previous slide with the 150-mile range of our area, there's going to be some people that aren't able to make it clear down to Lone Pine, especially if they're way up at the tip near Bridgeport. So what we're planning on doing is bringing some of those trainings out to the more remote areas like Bridgeport, Mono, possibly Benton, others, where they might not have access to that sort of training themselves. So we'll have kind of a digital roadshow. We'll be able to bring our own equipment. We'll be able to bring our own hotspots, offer them the training that they need, and then help them on their way.
Mm-hmm. Kayla, I don't know if you want to say anything else about the IDV labs, please.
I think just a few extra points on the workforce development, education, and digital inclusion. With workforce development and the work we're doing with IBEEP, we are really trying to engage other partners in the ecosystem to bring other courses to the community as well, to upskill the community members, to prepare them for higher paying jobs, to prepare them for sustaining even the broadband network in the community, and to promote economic development. With the education piece, the intelligent desktop virtualization is a great solution for remote locations. We have some traction in other regions outside of the US, in China, India, Southeast Asia, but we are currently doing a pilot installing 2 labs within the Owens Valley communities. In that it will be our first installment within the US, and then we hope to bring that to other communities within the Owens Valley or other communities across the US. It's a low-cost solution that uses one sort of host computer, and then you can use that one computer to connect 4 other monitors to, so you have 4 workstations connected to one sort of high-performing computer. So it cuts down the cost. Instead of having to buy 4 separate workstations, you have kind of one shared among 4 different people, 4 different end users. It's also great for remote manageability, being able to troubleshoot or access the solution and the desktops virtually, remotely. And it also is great for remote areas because it has less reliance on the network. You can work offline if you need to, if you don't have connectivity. And then with digital inclusion, just kind of more on that workforce development, we're trying to bring not only digital literacy skills to the community, but AI programs possibly, and just really anything that the community needs in what they are trying to build within that community, the skill sets that they're trying to bring there.
Thank you. And with 2 minutes. And with partners, yeah. Go ahead. This is our last 2 slides, I think. So we want to show you how to join the Alliance if you so choose. Again, we are working mainly with smaller rural tribes because, well, we often need the most help, and I'm from one myself, and a lot of times the requirements just to apply for these grants are more than what we have in our office. So we want to be there. We want to be that capacity for you guys. Here's some of the benefits, basically. Free membership to join. Our resolutions that we would like to have with our team or our member tribes, they're non-binding. But the last point, we are a single point of contact, and we're very focused and motivated on workforce development right now. So keeping those networks sustained is a big portion of that, and bringing economic development. Really. Oh, yes. We'll be having a 5 p.m. breakout session That's today, I believe, after this. So if you want to catch up with us in chat, at the reception area, we'd be more than happy to speak with you guys and talk more. And at least if we have materials or templates, we can provide that and are happy to help.